Today I'm going through with you guys all of my favorite makeup brushes. So I'm going to go through my favorite makeup brush brands and also what my favorite specific brushes are to use for each step of my makeup application. You guys have been asking and asking for this video, so I finally cleaned my brushes and was like, now is the time to film this. So hopefully you find it interesting, and if you do, let's go ahead and do the YouTubey things. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we're going to do desk view and get all into makeup brushes. Let's start with my favorite brush brand, shall we? This is the Rephr Brushes. Now, I was extremely blessed. I actually purchased the core eyeshadow set on my own, and then the brand actually reached out to me and sent me quite a few brushes as well. I'm also a Rephr affiliate. If you are wondering, I will have the link down below for you, and if you do shop through my link, I do make some commission, which all goes back into investing in my channel. So thank you so much if you do. And a lot of you do use my Rephr link, by the way, and thank you so much. You have no idea how much I appreciate it. But also it makes me happy because then I know you guys are getting the Rephr brushes, and like these are so insanely good that I love that you're gonna experience them as well. The Rephr brushes are natural hair brushes, which means they come from an animal. I'm not actually sure which animal, I apologize, but they are natural hair brushes. These changed my makeup game, and I don't say that lightly because makeup brushes are an investment, and they're also something that I do recommend investing in. And it wasn't truly hand on heart until I purchased these Rephr brushes and they gifted me some that I really truly understood how much makeup brushes can actually change your makeup game. Now, if you were going to try and pick between any, I would pick personally the eyeshadow brushes from Rephr, because the eyeshadow brushes from Rephr make my eyeshadow just technique blending, like the actual end result of the eyeshadow look, just even the process and the time it takes to complete an eyeshadow look, it makes it all go so much quicker, easier, more seamless. It's just, you've never seen an eyeshadow blend until you've used these brushes, or a natural hair brush in particular. And secondly, these are really good. They have a lot of really good shapes for hooded eyes. And they're also kind of smaller brushes, like smaller eyeshadow brushes, which is again, really good if you have hooded eyes. But these just changed my makeup game. I seriously cannot stress that enough. I really recommend all of the Rephr brushes. In fact, I have quite a wish list of my own right now on the Rephr website for like what I want to pick up next. All around, I think Rephr is a wonderful company, but the quality of their brushes truly, like, it's not overhyped. It's not like a YouTube gimmick where they're trying to sell you the product or anything like that. It is seriously like, these are good brushes. Next up on my favorite brush brand list is BK Beauty. Now, this is a newer brush company to my collection, and I do need to give the disclaimer that these were sent to me, so I did not purchase these. They were, if you did watch in my 5 brands I wanted to try in 2022 though, they were actually one of those brands that I wanted to try this year. So when they reached out to me, I nearly cried. I'm not even kidding, because I wanted to try these brushes so badly. Let me tell you that these brushes are truly insane. Truly insane, and have again changed my makeup game for the better and also insane ways. Now, if I had to separate these between the eyeshadow and the face brushes, this is the brand where I would say get Rephr eyeshadow brushes and get BK Beauty face brushes. In saying that though, BK Beauty is a completely like vegan makeup brush brand. So if you're looking for a synthetic makeup brush and not a natural hair, then I highly recommend the BK Beauty eyeshadow brushes. I mean, don't get me wrong, I actually really recommend the BK Beauty eyeshadow brushes, period. But just compared to a natural hair, I do prefer natural hair, but these are still exceptional quality, especially if you do not want natural hair. But these, regardless of the hair type, they are vegan though, insane, and truly have changed the game for me. So my favorite one is the BK 101, which I think is a lot of people's favorites. And I think you look at this and you go, like, I've got other brushes this shape in my makeup brush collection. This brush has made even foundations that I hate apply flawlessly. I don't know what it is. This brush is like a Harry Potter wizardry wand, but it's phenomenal. And then also this brush right here, this is so good for applying powder. So this is the BK 105, and it's quite dense, and I like to use it mainly with pressed powders or pressed powder foundations, but also really loose powder as well. Again, I don't know what it is about this shape right here and just the way that it applies powder to my face, but one, it makes my skin look poreless, like truly, like filter-like. And then when I use it in combination with this brush, so if I apply my foundation with the 101 and then set with this brush, the 105, I no joke look like I have a real life Instagram filter on my face. It's insane. Now I do have a 10% discount code with BK Beauty. It is in my description box as well down below for you guys. It's Martina10. If you shop using that code, you just get a discount, and it's not an affiliate, it's not like a commission base, it's just literally a pure discount for you guys. If you do click through the link though, I do get a small commission through the physical link, but if you don't wish to click through the link and shop through that, that's totally fine. But you can use the code Martina10 for 10% off, and it's not commission based or anything. Next up is a little indie brand that I don't think a lot of people have heard of, but this is also like just an incredible brush set, and again has changed my makeup game. So this is the What's Up Beauty eyeshadow brush set, and these brushes are natural hair, so they're not vegan, they are natural hair, and they are actually made in Japan as well. And these brushes are insane. And I did have a couple of you ask me, what do I recommend more between the What's Up and the Rephr? I actually recommend both if you can get them. If you can't, I think you could purchase either or, and you will be totally happy because they are very, very similar to each other, being that natural hair. The thing that I like about the What's Up Beauty brushes, and the reason why I say I would recommend both, is just that the shape of these What's Up Beauty brushes are different to the Rephr shapes and exceptional again for hooded eyes and small eyes. So if you have hooded eyes or small eyes, you'll really, really, really love this brush set. I mean, you don't have to have hooded eyes or small eyes, you will still love the brush set, but I just find that these work so well for those eye shapes. The other main brush brand that I recommend and that you guys see me use all the times is the Dellium Tools Golden Triangle sets. Now I have two sets here, and these are brilliant. These are again vegan, so not natural hair, just completely vegan. I've had these for quite some time and they're amazing. I will say that their eyeshadow brushes in these Golden Triangle sets right here are the closest thing to natural hair brushes that I have ever come across. So if I was going to recommend a vegan eyeshadow set, it would definitely be the Dellium Tools Golden Triangle sets. For like actually phenomenal. They're so soft and so just, they're absolutely incredible, truly. I still recommend natural hair over them, but if you are someone that doesn't wish to purchase natural hair, totally fine, each their own, absolutely. I recommend then the Dellium Tool eye sets, but also their face brushes are incredible as well, and they have quite a few unique shapes. And if you sign up to the Dellium Tools website, quite often they will have 40% off their Golden Triangle sets, particularly around Black Friday, which is coming up, but also you can just sign up. They do have sales quite often. Now what I'm going to do is go through each step of my makeup and show you guys which brushes are my absolute top favorites for those particular steps. I'm going to start with my eyes first because I actually normally do my eyes first before I do my base makeup. And let's start with blending eyeshadow out. Now my two favorite brushes I have a couple, like honestly all of these are my favorite eyeshadow brushes. You'll see these in regular rotation depending on what's clean and what's not. The Rephr 16 and the What's Up Beauty R104 here, see how these are like bigger, more tapered style blending brushes? See how they have the tape here into the end? When I say tape, it kind of comes into a bit of a point. These are my two favorite brushes to start with for like blending a transition shade through the crease. So they're kind of a bigger one, but the reason why I like tapered blending brushes, even in smaller shapes, see how it comes in here to that point, like I said, is because one, when it's tapered like that, if you have hooded eyes, you're going to concentrate most of the eyeshadow into the tip here. And when you kind of blend that through, the tapered bristles as they come down, they're actually just going to blend your eyeshadow for you. So it really makes the whole like blending your eyeshadow or your eyeshadow kind of look all together. It just makes it a lot easier. And then for hooded eyes, it's going to concentrate a lot of that shadow at the tapered point, which is going to create that kind of faux crease for you. So I love those. I also love my next two favorite is the Rephr number 14, which honestly you've seen me use for so long. This is actually probably my favorite eyeshadow brush of all time, the Rephr number 14. 14. There's one eyeshadow brush I recommend, especially if you have hooded eyes, but really any eye shape truly. Is the Rephr number 14. And then next up is the R103 from What's Up Beauty. It's just a slightly larger Rephr number 14, and I just love how tapered both of them are and how much smaller they are. Then you've got another couple of like tapered blending brushes here that are just slightly smaller from Rephr and What's Up Beauty. Highly recommend those. And then these two are like Sigma E25s, kind of like that more thinner. I don't know if I can even show you. See how it's like thinner on the sides and then flatter? So really, really good for concentrating color through the crease while still blending, but they're smaller and still really soft and easy to blend. So these are brilliant as well. I recommend these over the Sigma E25. And then these two blending brushes are my favorite non-natural hair, so vegan blending brushes. These are the BK 201 and 202. And one's really good, this one here, the 201 is really good for blending transition crease, and then the 202 is really good for deepening the crease up with like another shade. Apologies, I do have to really give a shout out to the Dellium tools 785 and 776. So the 776 is like a fluffier Sigma E25, and this is, again, both of these are vegan hair, and these are actually completely brilliant. I love this one right here. I'd actually forgotten about this brush for a minute, and I've been using it again lately because I felt like I realized how much I loved it. And then this 785, if you've been around this channel for a very long time, you would recognize this brush. I used to use it so often until I got my Rephr and my What's Up Beauty brushes, sorry. And it's just a beautiful kind of brush to use through the crease. Let's talk about flat shader brushes, aka applying metallic eyeshadows. Now, the all-time best metallic brush, or the all-time best brush for applying metallic eyeshadows, is the Rephr number 2. This is a natural hair brush, yes, but honestly, I've never ever had a brush that applies metallics like the way this does. It just picks up the metallic shadow so perfectly in the bristles, and it disperses it with the least amount of fallout, but also with the most impact for the pigment on the lid. This is the only brush that I've personally used that really does make that metallic shadow apply to the lid so opaque, like it's come exactly from the pan and looks exactly like it. So this one, honestly, I one day will pick up like another 5 of these and just pretty much only use these for applying metallics, because they're just, it's hands down the best brush. Shout out to the Rephr number 21, which is actually a vegan brush, I'm pretty certain, because of the color of the bristles. And this is really good for applying cream eyeshadows. I do tend to use more synthetic brushes with creams, and this does apply it really quite well. Next up, we have the Dellium tools 773 and 775. And if I didn't have Rephr, these two are the brushes that are hands down the best. The 773 is quite similar. So this is the 773 right here, and it's quite similar to the Rephr number 2. It's the closest thing to it without being natural hair. So this is both vegan brushes, and it disperses the metallic eyeshadows exceptionally well. And same with the Duo Fiber Shader Brush from Dellium Tools, just disperses the product beautifully. But because this one is that Duo Fiber at the top here, it is going to apply, one, if you have glittery shades like the Pat Special shades, it will kind of maximize the fallout, just because the way that the pigment goes into the brushes here, it goes on quite a lot more dispersed, which means that when it applies it to the lid, unless you've really saturated the brush or wet the brush quite well, it is going to disperse the shadow kind of more loosely over the lid than say something compact like this one right here. So if you want kind of like that soft glittery ethereal look, you want to go for something like this one, and if you want something that's more opaque and intense, you want something like this one. I have no idea if I explained that well or not, and I apologize if I didn't, but these are my favorite flat shader brushes. All right, let's talk about foundation brushes. Now, I will caveat with 9 times out of 10 I actually will use a sponge for foundation. I do really like the way sponges apply my foundation, but there are some days that I'm, 1, in the mood to use a brush, or 2, I find that the foundation formula works better with a brush. Now, my all-time period full stop favorite foundation brush is, like I've already said, the BK 101. I don't know what it is about this specific brush, but it's incredible. It's amazing. It applies product like foundation particularly, but all products like nothing I've ever seen. I almost want like 10 of these in my collection. Like, honestly, I don't know what magic is in here, but it's actually that good. Next up is one that you guys ask me about quite often. This is actually the LYS Foundation Brush, and it's really good. Like really, really good. It's kind of just a dense kind of, it's got a bit of a dome to it. I don't know if you can see that. So it's not a flat Kabuki, but I don't know, this also applies product really, really well. Like I mentioned, a lot of you guys asked me about this. It is completely vegan hair as well. And it was really affordable. I think it was like 23 Australian dollars. Could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure it was pretty close to that. And it's, yeah, I don't know why, but it's really, really good and definitely one of my all-time favorite foundation brushes. The good old fave Sigma Flat Kabuki F80. This is just a completely flat Kabuki brush, and again, it applies foundation really, really well. I really like this. I think it's just the way that the bristles are so flat really allows you to like stamp the product into the face, which makes it just, I don't know, it just applies the product really, really full coverage. It doesn't like, none of these foundation brushes, by the way, that I've mentioned so far, they don't apply streaky at all. So you don't even need to go over the product with a sponge. A lot of the time with foundation brushes, I'll find I have to apply it and then I have to go over it again with a sponge. I don't need to do that with this. And then this one is absolutely ridiculous and is definitely not a must-have, but it is a nice-to-have. This is the Artis Oval, I think it's the Oval 10. And remember these had their heyday back in the day, and I purchased one. And I don't use it a whole lot, but just honestly because I forget it's there. But when I do use it, I'm always pleasantly surprised as to how smooth and beautifully and soft that this does actually apply foundation. So if you are someone that's interested in this brush, because I know these do have their moments and they're quite intriguing, so I wanted to give it an honorable mention, because if you are interested in it and thinking about picking it up for interest's sake, I actually do think this works incredibly well. Let's talk about concealer, and in my opinion, this is the only concealer brush you need. This is the Rare Beauty concealer brush, and you can see that I like this brush so much that I have two. It has this kind of, it's like a angled point here. And I don't know if you're going to be able to convey on screen the shape of this. Hopefully you've seen it before. It's quite unique, but the way that it hugs your under eyes is what makes this brush shine. It just hugs your under eyes so beautifully, but also it's dense enough that it blends the concealer out with maximum amount of coverage, but dispersed enough so that it blends the concealer out in a diffused way. I don't know if that makes sense. It's like diffused and dense all at the same time in the most perfect way. And for the under eyes, it just blends the concealer immaculately. For cream contour, most of the time you'll see me use one of these Real Techniques brushes. So these are the Expert Face brushes, and then this, actually all three are Expert Face brushes. And I really like these. They're kind of like the perfect cheek size. They kind of fit in the hollow of your cheek. They're quite dense, meaning that they really will concentrate the product on, especially cream products. It works really well with cream products, and it's kind of got a tapered point here so that the majority of the product will sit concentrated there, and then the lower points here will actually blend the cream product out really smoothly for you. So I actually don't mind these as foundation brushes either. So I really, really like these three Expert Face brushes from Real Techniques for my cream contour. They're kind of like my #1 go-to. They also just really allow me to strategically place the product around my face. I also really like this 968 BDHD Phase 2. Sorry guys, I can't talk today. This is basically another, like almost a smaller version of the BK 101. I don't like this as much for foundation, and I think it just more so comes down to the actual bristles themselves. But for cream bronzer, or just a time where I really just want to quickly blend out my contour and not be so strategic, where I'll use the Real Technique brushes, this is amazing because this is tapered like this. If I concentrate most of the product right here and kind of like point it upwards as I blend, it'll kind of like push the cream contour into the hollow of my cheek or wherever, and then kind of the rest of these brushes here will like blend it upward. And it just blends really smoothly. Or if I'm doing cream bronzer where it's not such a strategic product placement, I just kind of put the cream bronzer over the brush and just kind of like tap it out all over my face, and just the angle of it fits the contours of my face really beautifully and the high points of my face. Just makes it a really smooth, easy, seamless application. For cream blush, I actually will just give an honorable mention to this Dellium Tools BDHD brush. Again, I have been quite liking this for cream blush. Cream blush, my god, blush and brush, too close together. I've been liking this as well for that. But my two go-tos is the BK 106. This is my #1 favorite, and it's kind of, they do say this is for like foundation, but it just has like a more, not super dense, but not super dispersed and fluffy brush head up here, and it just, I don't know, it just applies cream blush so perfectly and doesn't allow it to get patchy, doesn't lift the product up underneath, none of that. It just really applies it so lovely, and it's so soft. So this is my all-time favorite for cream blush. My previous favorite was the BH Cosmetics Marble Brush, and this is just in the Marble Brush set. I'll link it down below for you guys if I can still find it. And it's pretty much the same as the BK brush, but this one, the bristles aren't as smooth and soft. So it's still beautiful, but I like the BK one better. But this is a really good alternative, especially because you can usually pick this up extremely cheap. For powdering my under eyes, there is only one brush and nothing has ever come close. This is the Sigma Tapered highlighter brush. Actually, it's the F35, and it's just the fact, mine's quite like pushed out now from like washing and use because I've had this for a lot of years, but it was quite a tapered brush, and I just like, this just hugs the contours of my under eyes perfectly. It picks the product up perfectly. I don't know, the disbursement of these brushes is like perfect. There's just been nothing like this that will powder my under eyes like wonderfully and just kind of as smoothly. It really does make a difference. For setting my face, I always use, 9 times out of 10, will use my LH Cosmetics Powder Puff. Now this is dirty, so don't judge me, but this is the best powder puff of all time. I don't care what anyone says. I've never come across a powder puff that is better than this. It's so easy. Like, see how easy it is to do that? That's what you need in a powder puff. The Beauty Blender one, for example, is way too dense and non-malleable. So this is just gonna get into the contours of your face so perfectly. It also really allows you to work the powder into it, so it's not just like sitting on top like that Beauty Blender powder puff. Sorry, it picks up too much product at one time, in my opinion. This is the most perfect powder puff of all time. It has a perfect point here for your under eyes if you like doing that, or baking, like even just baking down the sides of your nose. It's the best. It's the best. I have like 2. And then, as I mentioned already, the BK 105, I don't know why this brush sets my face so wonderfully, especially if I have a pressed powder product, but it's impeccable and truly makes me look flawless and poreless. So all-time fave, absolutely. Powder bronzer, we have the Rephr number 22, just a really good, decent size. It kind of has a little bit of a tape here, just fits in the hollow of your cheeks perfectly. It's a nice big brush. It's natural hair, so it just blends out powder exceptionally well. Truly love. And then for a vegan option, which I've also been super, super loving, is the BK 103. Very similar just to the Rephr shape, just slightly smaller and more tapered. But again, the bristles just blend the powder out so perfectly. It's such a good size. I really, really love this one. My 2 all-time favorite blush brushes, like hands down, is the Rephr 05 and the BK 107. Basically the same brush as each other. I don't know if you can even see that. They're pretty much the same as each other, but this one is natural hair, this one is vegan hair, and I love both of them equally. They're truly amazing blush brushes. Never want to be without them. For highlighter, I kind of don't really have a favorite highlighter brush, to be fair with you. I just kind of use either one of these. So this is the BK 108, which I do quite like because it's quite a little bit dense, so I can kind of like push the product into my cheek quite well, and it really does kind of melt it into the skin, so I do really like that one. I also really like this Flower Beauty one because I don't know if you can see this, but it's so soft and like movable and dispersed that it really just applies like, oh, it applies your highlighter just really wispy is how I would describe it, and I really like that. And I got this like $4. You guys have seen me use, if you've been around here a lot, the BH Cosmetics Rose Quartz Tapered kind of brush, and it's the same as the Flower Beauty, just really kind of dispersed and beautiful. But actually, I've also been liking this for blush lately, so this is a really good option. I really like the Rose Quartz and the Marble brush sets from BH Cosmetics if you're looking for an affordable vegan option. And then the other end of the Mario F2 brush, this one right here, is really, really good as a highlight brush as well. I really like using this for highlighter. This is also a good blush brush or a bronzer brush, but I don't like it more than the others. I'll use this as like blush or bronzer if my brushes are dirty, but I do use this as my highlight quite often. That is all of my favorite makeup brushes, you guys. I hope that video was interesting. I know it probably wasn't for some of you, but hopefully for those of you that were looking for that video, it was helpful in some way, shape or form. I really do stand by those brushes. I really do. I feel really passionately about them. But yeah, that's all my favorite brushes and the ones that I like to use. If you have any questions, like let me know in the comments down below. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you have. Just bear with me. I have a full-time job as well, so it does take me quite some time to get to my comments, but I do get to all of them. I love chatting with you guys. And yeah, let me know your favorite makeup brushes in the comments down below. I'd be very interested in hearing from you guys as well. If you're watching till this point, you're an absolute legend. I appreciate you so, so much. Thank you. If you haven't already, pretty please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe. It helps my channel so much. I hope you have an amazing day wherever you are in the world, and I will see you next time. Bye.